The day I came home and found a $160,000 BMW parked in my garage without asking, I thought it was some kind of prank. 2 weeks later, that same car was sealed inside by police tape, its owner crying on live TV while federal agents raided her house. And all of it started because I just wanted to use my own garage. My name's Jake Morrison. I'm a 34-year-old electrician single dad, the kind of guy who fixes more things than he breaks. 6 years of saving every overtime dollar finally bought me a small home in Willowbrook Estates, 3 bedrooms, modest yard, and the part that mattered most to me, a 2-car garage. That garage was supposed to be my sanctuary. Smell of sawdust, the clank of old tools that once belonged to my grandfather, and enough space to build a treehouse for my daughter Emma when she came over on weekends. It was the dream. Quiet suburb, friendly neighbors, $180 a month to the HOA. Easy rules, cut your grass pay on time, don't paint your house neon. Simple, I thought. Then I met Brenda Whitfield. 52, always in designer clothes, hair perfect even in humidity, and an attitude that could strip paint off a wall. She was the HOA treasurer, which in her mind translated to supreme ruler of suburbia. Her husband, Brad, worked in city planning, and she loved reminding everyone of that fact. The kind of woman who carried a clipboard like a sword measuring grass height while pretending to walk her purse dog. My first encounter came one afternoon when I was installing safety lights for Mrs. Chen, an elderly widow on our block. I'm bent over wiring when a shadow blocks the sun. I look up and there she is, heels clicking perfume so strong it burned. "Excuse me," she said like she was addressing a criminal. "I don't see a permit posted for this electrical work." I explained outdoor lights don't need one, showed my license, even offered to review the code with her. She sniffed, said, "I'll verify that with my husband." We can't have questionable contractors lowering property values. The way she said questionable contractors told me exactly what she thought of guys who worked with their hands. From then on, she was everywhere. Dawn patrol with her violation notebook citing families for trash cans out too long, or a kid's bike left in the driveway. She fined Mrs. Chen for aesthetically inappropriate decorations, her late husband's memorial wind chimes. She fined my neighbor Tom for parking his work truck in his own driveway. Every time those heels clicked down the sidewalk, blinds would twitch. Kids scattered like pigeons. I kept my head down, followed every microscopic rule thinking I could fly under her radar. But one Tuesday night, after a 12-hour shift restoring power to a medical clinic, I came home exhausted. Boots heavy with dust, and there it was, a pearl-white BMW X5 parked dead center in my garage. Not halfway in. Not by mistake. Perfectly positioned like it belonged there. For a second, I thought I was hallucinating. Then I saw her sitting on my porch chair scrolling her phone like she owned the place. I asked as calmly as I could, "Brenda, why is your car in my garage?" She smiled without looking up. "Oh, Jake, my driveway's being sealed tomorrow. Emergency situation. The HOA emergency parking clause allows temporary use of available spaces." I flipped through the bylaws on my phone and said, "There's no such clause." She stood smoothing her skirt. "I'm reviewing updates. Consider this a pilot program for community cooperation." Something inside me snapped, but instead of yelling, I hit record on my phone. "So, just to confirm, I said you're parking in my private garage under a rule that doesn't exist." Her smile froze. "You can't record me without consent," I said. "We're on my property, and it's a one-party consent state." She tried to snatch my phone. I stepped back. "Good," I said. "Maybe your husband at city planning can explain how fake HOA rules work." The next morning, I found a notice taped to my door. "Failure to maintain community standards. Garage left open overnight. Fine $200. A handwritten note underneath read, "Maybe next time you'll be more cooperative." B. I just stood there shaking, reading it over and over. She fined me for her own violation. For the first time, I felt something worse than anger, helplessness. How do you fight someone who makes the rules? I sat on my porch that night staring at the closed garage door thinking maybe I should just pay the fine, keep my head down, protect Emma from more drama. Then I called my old college buddy Derek, now a real estate attorney. When he stopped laughing, he said, "Jake, she just handed you evidence of harassment. Go to the county records office tomorrow. See what the HOA really owns and what you actually signed." Next day, during lunch, I drove to the courthouse, dug through dusty binders until I found my property deed. That's when I smiled for the first time in days. Turns out, the HOA had been using an outdated survey. My actual property extended 18 inches farther than their map showed. The entire garage fully mine, legally untouchable. That tiny strip of land was my leverage. Meanwhile, Brenda wasn't backing down. She emailed the whole neighborhood claiming I'd compromised community security. She painted me as some reckless contractor who endangered everyone, and people believed her. I started getting side glances at the mailbox. That quiet humiliation hit harder than the fines. I began to doubt myself. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe this was all just suburban nonsense. But then Emma called, her little voice bright as sunlight. "Daddy, is the mean lady being mean again?" she asked. I laughed, but it hurt. "Yeah, baby. But Daddy's learning how to be mean back the right way." The next morning, I came home to find her BMW still in my garage and now a black Mercedes parked beside it. My electrical supply cabinet had been shoved back with a new padlock I didn't buy. A sticky note on my workbench read, "Temporary relocation for client staging. Community cooperation appreciated." BW. That was it. I called the non-emergency police line. Officer Martinez arrived, took one look, and said, "Sir, this is harassment." He asked if I wanted to press charges. Watching Brenda try to explain why she'd locked up my tools in my own garage was beautiful. Property deed trumps HOA agreement every time Martinez told her. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. The following week, a towing notice appeared on my work van signed off by her husband, Brad. My perfectly legal work van parked on a public street. That's when Derek called with what he called the smoking gun. He'd requested public records of Brad's emails. There it was, black and white, target working-class homeowners for maximum leverage. My stomach turned. It wasn't about aesthetics or rules. It was a system Brad using his city position to help Brenda manipulate property values. They harassed residents until people sold cheap, then flipped the homes through Brenda's staging company. That night, I sat in my workshop staring at the walls that used to feel safe. For a moment, I really thought about giving up selling, leaving, disappearing. But then I looked at Emma's half-built treehouse plans pinned above the workbench. Her handwriting said Daddy plus Emma Project. And I knew I couldn't run. I had to fight back. We built a team. Derek handled the legal angles. Mrs. Chen brought her meticulous records every citation Brenda ever gave her. Tom, a former Marine with a knack for surveillance, set up cameras around my property. Sarah Mitchell, the neighborhood Facebook admin, started collecting residents' complaints and timestamps. We didn't call ourselves heroes, but we were about to expose an empire. Then Derek proposed something crazy. Take a 2-week vacation. Lock the garage. Let her hang herself. So I did. I locked Brenda's BMW inside my garage, left cameras running, and drove with Emma to Yellowstone for the most strategic camping trip of my life. 3 days and my satellite phone buzzed. It was Tom. "She's lost it," he said. Day 1 tried to pry your garage lock with a crowbar. Day 2 called a locksmith, claimed HOA emergency inspection. He refused. Day 3 brought an electrical inspector claiming your wiring was unsafe. The inspector asked for a complaint number. She couldn't produce one. He told her filing false reports is a misdemeanor. I got it all on video. By day 6, she offered Tom $500 cash to let her retrieve staging materials. He recorded everything. By day 9, she hired an unlicensed guy with bolt cutters to break in. Police caught him red-handed and he immediately confessed Brenda paid him $200. The next morning, federal agents raided her house. 6 a.m. Channel 7 News Live on scene. Brenda, in a bathrobe, screaming about property rights while boxes of files left her front door. Brad got arrested at his city planning office before lunch. The investigation found fake invoices, forged signatures, bank transfers from HOA accounts to Brenda's personal company. And, worst of all, a spreadsheet listing 12 target properties each with notes like elderly, widow, blue-collar family, single father, corner lot, pressure through fines. My name topped the list. When Emma and I drove home 2 weeks later, our street looked like a crime scene mixed with a block party. Neighbors cheering, reporters everywhere, Brenda's abandoned BMW still in my garage behind yellow tape. Officer Martinez greeted me with a grin. "Welcome back, Mr. Morrison. You started quite the revolution." That night, the community gathered in the school cafeteria, the same place Brenda once held her fake meetings. Derek presented the evidence: financial fraud, abuse of authority, conspiracy. The room buzzed with disbelief and anger. Then, Sarah played the voicemails Brenda had left me while I was gone. 17 of them. The first was commanding. "You need to return immediately and resolve this garage issue." The next was threatening. "My husband's position gives us options you haven't considered." Then, bargaining, "I'll drop all fines if we can talk." And finally, sobbing. "Please, Jake, I'll pay above market value for your house. Don't let them take everything." The crowd fell silent. Some shook their heads. Even I felt a flicker of pity for about 2 seconds. Officer Martinez stood up and said justice isn't always pretty, but it's necessary. Within weeks, the state revoked Brenda's real estate license. Brad was fired and banned from government work. Both faced federal charges, fraud, conspiracy, and civil rights violations. Their mansion went into foreclosure. I never wanted fame. I just wanted to close my garage door at night without being punished. But somehow, one small act of standing my ground pulled down a web of corruption spanning half the county. And that's the thing about bullies: they only win when good people stay quiet.